Hey, I'm Pastor Fred. Welcome to the Follow Through. We are listening to God. We're also living for Him each and every day. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with somebody. Now, for the next couple of weeks, what we're going to really be talking about is making disciples. In other words, how do we, as people who believe in Jesus, right? We don't just believe a set of truths, right? We've been brought into the very family of God. I mean, when Jesus died on that cross and when the Holy Spirit came into our lives and when we were baptized into Christ, right? We're connected with something huge. And so my life is never the same. It will never be the same. I'm now launched into this thing where I am following Jesus every day. Like I'm looking to who He is, what is He all about. And so that's what it means to be a disciple, but also I'm called to be someone who makes disciples. In fact, that's the mission of the church. My church, your church, every church. Doesn't matter. No exceptions in Christianity. From the beginning till Jesus comes again. The mission will always be that we would follow Jesus, but that we would also make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. That's why this thing continues, right? It's not just magic, it's because God's working. He's working in my heart and your heart, right? And he gets us so excited about what Jesus is doing that, like Paul, we're willing to lay our lives down. We're willing to say, you know what, it doesn't matter. This isn't about me. This is about God. This is about the people around me. I want them to know Him. I want them to know who He is. And so Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1, he says, be imitators of me as I am of Christ. Now, that second part is so important because what Paul is saying is that is not to be attached to Him and who He is, right? This isn't the Paul fan club. This isn't, right, Paul's little posse or his little, and I'm sorry about that reference, but, he's saying, look, I don't want you to follow me, but let's follow Jesus. I really think that's what he's saying. He's saying when you see me doing things that are influenced by and really that Jesus is making happen in my life, he goes, imitate that. Now again, Paul may have had his rough days and stuff. He's like, okay, no, don't be imitating that. But if Paul in a rough day goes to Jesus, asks His forgiveness, he's like, look, yeah, emulate that. Emulate a total dependence on Jesus, a total faith in Him. He's like, as I imitate Christ, he said, I want you to imitate me. And so he's, as always, this is what Paul does. He's saying, look, I want you to have the same perspective on life that I have. Right? Paul said, in another place, he said, to live is Christ, to die is gain. Right? Paul basically was saying, look, it was not about him. It was about Jesus. And so he says, that's what I want you to imitate. That godly lifestyle, that life that says, you know what, Jesus paid the price for my sins. I am no longer under God's wrath. He has taken all that on Him, and now I want to live for Him. I want to live for that. So he says, imitate me as I do that. That's what we do. Now we know how powerful this is because we know there's so many people who will say, yeah, that they're, let's say they'll say, I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus, but then their life is like, there's like no evidence of that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all lip service, and that's what Paul is really kind of pointing us to sort of avoid. In fact, he had given right in if you look at chapter 10 of 1 Corinthians, he was saying like that he operated in such a way that he was not about to give offense, that he just had this way of having a focus that people would be saved. And so he says, I'm gonna just conduct myself in that way. I'm gonna know that everybody's watching, and I'm not gonna play to the crowd, and I'm not gonna do things so that people will like me, but that they would be saved by Jesus. And so that's what I want us to latch onto today, is this incredible mission that God is bringing us into. And all of us are part of it. And I pray that what we do is that we live a life worth imitating, a life worth following. Why? Because you're following Jesus. And ultimately, we want everyone to follow Him, all right? So you have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you next time.